What I mean by that is these Ravens are for their detection. They have the missile. They have point defense drone. These battlecruisers have Yamato cannon. Thors have anti-air and hurt ground. And huge abducts going off back and forth. There's going to be some big secret missiles going on here. They have to be really careful. Has to get some unit splits going off. Yamato cannons. Don't see any secret missiles at the moment. And the Ravens move up. Drop their point defense drones, which negate all of these Corruptor missiles. And there goes tons of losses back and forth. Pretty even trades going out. Huge abducts going down as well, grabbing all the battle cruisers. What is a Terran to do with no gas at this point? He has to transition into some type of mineral dump. The problem though, Zerg has no minerals. These Corruptors are now worthless. Going back to the units tab, we've got 10 swarm hosts. Not going to really be able to do too much, very immobile, and this is what's going to happen now. All these drones are going to get taken out. His income is just plummeted. It's almost a fourth of the Terran player, and now Mario can just move into this very mineral-heavy army with the excess of battle Hellions, and he's using all the gas on the battle cruisers to force CatZ to keep spending his gas on these Corruptors, but he's not going to be able to do the ground and the air at the same time. And you're going to see these little wave pushes just come out, and he's taking advantage of all these extra minerals. Alright, does run into a nice pack of Ultralists, though. They're going to very easily clean that up, and that's a very nice defense by CatZ, not giving up the run by. Oh, these mech games, you punish me. Players must have heard me say my voice was going out, so they decided to play the longest game possible. Damn you, Mario! Damn you, CatZ! Damn you! But still really cool to see this kind of play. I love seeing innovation. I love seeing the new possibilities, the timings, kind of the late game transitions. Well, they are fundamentally the same. You do see a little bit of differences coming in, especially with the swarm host, things like that. I like the way these are being used in the late game. You leave 3 of them back at the base, and they're still able to put out pretty much defense without resources. So they're able to still put out, chase away these Hellions. They're still very viable. I want to see how they're used more as the game develops. Viper seem like a unit you can build a little too much of. The abducts are great, but at a certain point, you got to say these very expensive units are actually doing no damage. They offer a lot of utility. They're good spellcasters, but they're not really like the infestors because they're not putting out damage. They can't give you any burst or any DPS at all. They're all about positioning. So I think having more than 4 or 5 at this point is kind of erroneous, only because you're going to pull all these units to you, which is great. You're going to drop some Binding Cloud, but it's not going to alleviate a Terran mech army. You're going to pull them to you, and then what in CatZ's army exactly is going to be doing the bursting when these grabs are happening? He can grab the battlecruisers, but it's not going to be really doing too much at this point. And the slow death. The slow death of CatZ is painful to watch. You know, and it's weird to look at. The numbers don't really tell the story. You have units lost, almost cataclysmically lifting towards Mario, yet somehow he's still able to establish these bases, take advantage of the mules, and that's kind of the whole point of Terran. The problem right now with Zerg is that he can't mine effectively from these mineral patches up here, and there's just thousands of minerals that are kind of up for grabs, whereas the Terran can just, at a certain point, once they hit the critical mass of these whatever they're called, these orbital commands, you can just spam orbital commands over and over again, and just spam the mules and get all this money just in the bank that you can just use as the game progresses to late game. Zerg, the entire game, still has to worry about mining, so they can't suicide all their drones yet. They still have to mine, try to get some efficient mining off of these remaining mineral patches, and it's going to be a very, very tough scenario, especially for these players as they move into this very awkward late game. What you will see, though, is the players here can be very conservative with their money. Infestors need to land some amazing fungals, and that'll start doing it right there, able to lock down those ravens. But then here comes Yamato Cannon as well, and right there's some more energy for unit kills, never a bad thing. And with those repairs going down in the huge mech and minerals, Infestors just can't do enough damage. Yes, he has them clumped. Yes, he's landing every single fungal, but it doesn't matter. Not to say that any composition is stronger than the other one, but you can't let the Terran get to this point where they just force you into these really bad compositions. And there's the extra abducts, or the extra abducts, and they have all this energy, but what can they do here? Almost nothing. Yes, they pull the battlecruiser closer, but it doesn't matter. The enemy's in his face anyway. It's almost a waste of gas and supply. Now they have to just run away. There's nothing they can do. Whereas at least the Infestors could put out some form of DPS. And you have to feel that CatZ is almost sliding towards that good game button. It's there. He held on valiantly. Turned it into a game. Unfortunately, Mario is just a very cautious and mechanically strong player. So once he had that lead, he was not letting go. Even after the bad trades, he just refused to kind of secede that lead and just put himself in a really good position to take over the late game. We are now approaching the 50-minute mark of a TvZ. Every single base is taken. Every single base is almost mined out. And those point defense drones are just so effective. Alright, getting to a really awkward situation here again. Trying to mass these caster units. Point defense drones doing a lot. Abducts going down. Corruptor's going to pick that up. These battle Hellions though are gonna start being very useful. Got a mostly Zerg's got a mostly air army. He's got no way to transition out of this now, especially with the lack of gas. He's continuing to warp in these corruptors. He's gonna try to transition to some form of broodlords, but unfortunately, look at this. That's free damage, all clumped up, all falling. You know, if it even came down to it, you could drop some more barracks and just start going Marines, and Zerg would have absolutely no answer to it because they're just so lacking right now. But everything's about mined out, so this is almost negative income now for both players. So they've kind of evened out in supply. There's been some poor trades. These caster units are going to become really important because they're going to be able to do damage without actually sacrificing themselves. One base left, though. Income's going to start shooting up for CatZ. If he can get himself in a good defensive position and can start just putting out damage without taking any, he has to take advantage of these swarm hosts, has to take advantage of every unit he has on the map. He can possibly whittle away this army. And now Mule's being used to repair, which is almost unfair. And I did not mean to rhyme there, but it works out pretty well. Nice fungal going down. Won't really matter. Can't put out quite enough damage to really damage these armored units. And we do have the Ravens coming in. They're going to put out some nice seeker missiles. They can just go ahead and drop turrets as well at this point. They're going to be free units. Scans going down, picking up the creep tumors, killing all those very expensive, very precious swarm hosts. There's almost nothing CatZ can do, producing more queens, trying to just make use of every resource he has. Oh no, everything's clumped together. And you can outrun those secret missiles now, which is very good. Catches 3 of the Ravens, still pretty good trade. Drops some infested Terrans, but oh no, here it comes. Can the infested move away fast enough? He decides to kite one back. Drops a fungal, which is almost immediately repaired. It's a very strange counter to these fungals, is just having extra mules now to just repair this army. He's dropped about 9 or 10 fungals on this clump, and they're finally now whittling down enough HP to die, and it's just way too many fungals. It takes so much to kill these. And the few battlecruisers will just kind of be well protected by these caster units, and Zerg just doesn't have an answer, doesn't have gas, can't really do anything, can just continue to produce queens, but they're outranged, outgunned, out DPS'd. There's more tanks. There's nothing CatZ can do at this point. And nice little follow-ups coming in. He's got to be careful with dumping the minerals, though, because I will say one bad engagement, although I don't think he could even lose. When he has anything, he can try to pull these, but yeah, just into spore crawlers at this point. Ooh, does land a very nice neuroparasite, but oh no, here comes the secret missiles. They're going to do so much damage, they cannot connect. If he wants any chance, he has to hold here. Use every spell he has, and those Vipers just can't really do anything on their own. Landing some more fungals. Corruptors coming in as well. Taking out tons and tons of those air units. He just suicided all his Ravens. Now CatZ with the money lead in the bank. Fungals coming out as well. Oh no, Mario, what did you do? Did he just throw the game, get a little too excited? You know, having to waste fungals, unfortunately, on these one or two units, but just has nothing else that could really do damage right now. Ooh, and Neuroparasite nailed. Do have lots of battle aliens, though. CatZ does have more minerals. If he can warp just a few Broodlords in, he'd be able to maybe destroy this army. Sending SCVs to mine the base that is left. Oh man, that is just dirty. I think there's just too many battle aliens out at this point. He's going to start getting gas as well. And now, I can come back in favor, able to start producing large amounts of these battle aliens. And as we see, Infestor just not really a very solid answer. With the Queens, they kind of help, but they just can't put out the damage. And even if they're clumped together, AoE damage doesn't do that much to these battle aliens. They're almost built for it. That said, supply still even. Arrow being very rude. Building the extra refineries. I don't think CatZ even knows. He's going to find out, oh, my base just got stolen. Damn. And he has pretty much stolen all of the minerals and gas. Corruptors move in with no Broodlords. They can't really do anything. Courtesy mules drop to take as much as they can, but some nice fungals actually put down to kind of just halt this collection at least, because CatZ does still have the advantage in minerals. We do have one last big hurrah push coming out for Mario, who switches down into Hylian mode to catch up to all these infestors, and oh no, he can't lose these. Blue Flame doing tons of damage, taking out all those precious infestors. All that gas is gone. He still has 1400, still has units streaming across the map, has battle aliens up, still has battle cruisers up, but there are corruptors. It doesn't matter though. There's no infrastructure left. Any kind of base trade can be forced at this point, and there's not enough ground units from CatZ to do anything. And there is the leaf. Good game, whether it was said or not. That went down to the last. It seemed like the last mineral. And that's a very interesting way of looking at a mech late game. It gets to the point where you have to start taking advantage of those extra orbital commands and banking minerals for that inevitable trade back and forth. Everything mined out on this base with the exception of, I think, one or two bases. And that is, you know, that's just one way to play against mech. Get those caster units and just kind of chip away. Had CatZ done that from the very beginning, I think this would have been a much different game. Unfortunately, he had to slowly transition into it, and because of a few bad plays by Mario, he couldn't end it early, and it kind of just turned into this really good game, but kind of started off very one-sided. Either way, very good games. I am almost exhausted after these two 1-hour casts, but both games were awesome. Saw some really strong mech